Hi, Trinity friends, and greetings from Oxford, the Princeton of England. I'm standing here outside the University Church of St. Mary the Virgin, a tremendously historic church where a number of important things to our faith happened. The first and maybe the most important is its association with Thomas Cranmer, now the reformer, the reforming Bishop Thomas Cranmer. We have him to thank for our prayer book, was brought to this church to publicly recant his Reformation ideas. He had already kind of gone back on it a few times. He was in prison, and they brought him to the church in order for him to publicly do this, and it would be a propaganda coup for the government, right, under Mary. But they brought him here. They put him up on a platform, and you can still see a notch in the pillar where that platform was built. And he got up on the platform, and he knew by this point that there was no way that he was going to save his own skin. And so he got up there and he recanted his recantation. He said, no, I really believe these Protestant ideas. I reject the authority of the Pope. And of course, then it was all over. And he was taken from this church to be burned at the stake. A little bit later, William Laud, High Church post-Reformation guy, built what's called Laud's Porch at the front of the church, and I'll stick a picture in there for you. And it was a great scandal at the time because it was tremendously ornate. It had a statue of the Virgin Mary on it. And all the sort of dour Protestant folks were tremendously offended by this eruption of high church ideas. And then, of course, at the time of the Puritans, William Laud, too, was executed for his convictions. And then much later in the 19th century, John Keble, one of the leaders of the Oxford movement, preached a sermon from the pulpit here called National Apostasy. It was the very beginnings of the Oxford movement, the Anglo-Catholic revival in the Church of England, the restoration of sort of pre-Reformation aesthetics and ideas. And you can see the legacy of the Oxford movement in the architecture of our own church, Trinity Church, which is much less plain, right, than an 18th century Episcopal church might be, because of the influence of the Oxford movement. Keble preached from this pulpit. John Henry Newman preached from this pulpit before he became a Roman Catholic himself. So I hope you've enjoyed this little look, at least from the back, and I'll throw in some pictures of the University Church of St. Mary the Virgin in Oxford.